Today I want to talk about one of my favorite actresses, Constance Wu. Wu came to my attention when she first appeared on the TV show Fresh Off the Boat, which as a show kind of lost my interest pretty quickly, but Wu was definitely the highlight for me. She was absolutely hilarious. So I started following her on Twitter in the hopes that she would be absolutely hilarious in real life. It ended up being a great follow because not only has she been very funny, but she's also been very outspoken about feminism and progressive values, which, is something I'm vaguely interested in sometimes. She gained even more prominence recently after she starred in the smash hit movie Crazy Rich Asians. And with that bump in fame, she has become the target of angry men, of course. She recently sat down on stage at Vulture Fest in LA to talk a little bit about her work, and the conversation turned to the hate she started getting from Asian incels, as she called them, and MR Asians, as her interviewer Alex Young termed them. He's Korean American, so he's allowed to say that. I'll just say that I laughed when I heard it. Wu pointed out that the Asian incels found out she had once dated a white man, and from that they deduced that she exclusively dated white men, and this angered them. Asian incels, well, let's start with incels. In case you're not aware, incels are involuntary celibates, a term they've given themselves, though the vast majority of them could definitely have sex if they only took care of themselves, dropped the misogyny, and showered once in a while. Incels further categorize themselves into groups that help explain to themselves and to others why they think they can't have sex, whether that be because they're short, fat, ugly, poor, or in this case, Asian. I'm not sure if any of them admit that it's their awful personality that's the trouble, and I'm kind of afraid to do a deep dive to find out. Like, I spent about 15 seconds Googling, and I ended up on an incel thread where they were laughing about how black people and women aren't human. So yeah, I'm just going to guess that none of them realize what's actually going on here. Anyway, Asian incels think that they can't get laid because women don't like Asian men. And by the way, incels are pretty much always men, despite the fact that the term itself was coined by a lonely queer woman. Most incels fervently believe that a woman can get laid regardless of how ugly, short, fat, or terrible personality she is. On to the irony here. These men are harassing Constance Wu even though she is on their side. In a way. Obviously, she's not down with the misogyny that they regularly express, but she does understand that Asian men are victims of our culture. She points out that she insisted they cut a line from her Crazy Rich Asians character, who in the book that the movie's based on, says that she had never dated an Asian man until her partner in the film, Nick. She points out that to say somebody is an exception to the rule is to reaffirm the rule. The rule being that Asian men aren't attractive as sexual partners. This is exactly the type of thing that intersectional feminists want to fix. Asian men really aren't often portrayed in Western media as being sexy or strong providers. In our culture, we elevate symbols of manliness that Asian men don't typically tend to exhibit. Big bushy beards, broad shoulders, over 6 feet tall. Meanwhile, we elevate symbols of femininity that Asian women do exhibit, having a tiny frame, a quiet voice, and an assumed submissiveness. These are two sides of the same coin, and feminists want to throw that coin in the trash because all it does is hurt people. Asian women end up getting objectified as exotic, silent sex slaves, and Asian men end up getting neutered, sexually ignored for not seeming manly enough. This is why intersectional feminism is important. You get to see the way that sexism interacts with other realms of racism and xenophobia, which helps us stamp out all of it. Unfortunately, the MR Asians have swallowed the lie that women are all subhuman, shallow horrors, so they can't see what's right in front of their faces, or who is just on the other side of their computer screen fighting for their rights while they try to harass her off the internet.